Stay tuned for a meeting of the City of Calabasas Commission. The meeting will be broadcast using Zoom and the city's CTV Channel 3. Commission members may teleconference into the meeting without noticing or posting an agenda at their teleconference location. Besides the live TV and Zoom broadcast, the live stream of the meeting may be viewed online at cityofcalabasas.com/CTV Live. If you want to provide public comment, press raise hand if you're using Zoom or *9 if you're joining by phone. Just unmute yourself by pressing *6. Say your name and the city you live in. You'll be allowed 3 minutes to address the commission regarding any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. If the power or internet goes out lasting more than 15 minutes, or if there's some event that prevents the commission from meeting or prevents you from providing public comment, then the meeting will be adjourned. Any items noticed as public hearings will be rescheduled to the next regular commission meeting. Any other agenda items the commission has not taken action on will be placed on a future agenda. Now, a meeting of the City of Calabasas Commission.
Okay, good evening. I'm Charlotte Meyer, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the Calabasas Parks, Recreation, and Education Commission special meeting. Okay, can we please have Jeff, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Which Jeff are we talking to? Me?
Oh, you, yes, because you're the one that's unmuted.
I'm
Jeff
more than
Maxwell
happy.
muted his, so he doesn't have to do it.
All right, if everyone could put their hand over their heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the
United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. All right. May I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And I think the motion passes 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. And Brad, are you with us here?
I am here.
Okay, did you vote too? You're blacked out.
Yes, aye.
Hi, Brad. And you approved also. Okay, the motion
Yes, I
passes
approve.
1, 2, 3, 5-0. Thank you. Okay. We have approval of the pre-minutes from January 9th, 2022. They were rather short because we didn't have a quorum. So we just had the attendance listed here. I guess we have to approve that too. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. And then I have a question as part of the discussion after we approve this minutes.
Okay. Is there a second to approve the minutes?
I'll second
as
so we can
Okay,
discuss.
we have a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Before you call for the vote, I'd like to have a discussion.
Oh,
And
before
that
I
is, I want to make sure that separately, we will also be approving the minutes from December. Since there was no quorum in January, those minutes also need to be approved.
I'm glad you brought that to our attention because I have that agenda right here and I was puzzled about that as well. So yeah, we have the December 8th. No, wait. Wait a second here. You're right. I have the January 9th minutes. Here are the minutes, right? So the December 8th minutes, we have to also approve. Is that correct? You're right. I have it right here. Okay, so all those, let's get a motion to approve the Thursday, December 8th minutes. Which we
Okay,
do.
so-
They're not in the agenda. So I'm a little puzzled now. How do we do that?
We're gonna have to do it next time, Charlotte. You can't. do
Okay,
it this
yeah.
time.
All right, so let's remember to add those minutes to the, I have it right here and I was wondering what to do with it as well. You
Yeah.
just beat me to the punch. Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right. Okay, so we approve the commission minutes for January 9th.
I don't think we technically voted.
We didn't take a vote.
Oh, okay, that's right. I'm sorry. All those in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye. Aye. Brad, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Aye.
Thank you. Okay. All right. It's my pleasure today to introduce Jeff Campbell, who's our recreation manager of the Tennis and Swim Club. And Jeff, I'd like to introduce you and say, and just to compliment what a wonderful job you're doing and how fantastic the improvements have been. So if you want to say a few words, we'd love to hear from you. Unmute.
I'm going to say a couple words while Jeff's unmuted.
Okay.
So Jeff has come to us, I think he came July 10th or 11th. He's been fantastic. He jumped right in. He has over 25 years of experience in community services, from a recreation leader to a director. Most of his career was in the city of Lancaster, but he was in Hesperia Parks and Recreation District. So he'll tell you a little more about that. I just wanted to let you know he's been an absolute joy and great for the team. Excellent experience, wonderful customer service. He's just amazing. So I'm glad he's joined the team. He helps me more than he knows. And I'm sure he will be there for all of you for anything that you need as well. So Jeff, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining our team. And if you want to let the commission know a little bit about your experience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. I apologize for the delay. I'm having some trouble with my mouse, so I was not able to unmute, but we've got it all squared away now. So everyone can hear me okay? Okay. So yes, my name is Jeff Campbell. I started off with the city of Lancaster. I spent 26 years there as a recreation leader when I was still in college, promoted to a coordinator, then 7 promotions later, I was the director of Parks, Recreation, Arts. And from there, I went to Hesperia, and I was the administrative operations manager with Hesperia for about 1.5 years. And then I saw this opening and I immediately applied here, and I've been here for about 7 months, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm so happy with the team. I love the area. I love the facilities we have. The facilities we have are just something that cities don't have, to be honest with you. I hope the community understands that, because most, like Tennis and Swim, when we have the senior center, when we get the community center open again, a lot of cities just don't have things like that, and they would just be thrilled to have something like this. And we have all 3 of them, and it's amazing. So again, about 28 years experience. Parks and Recreation, community services is my passion. It's what I do. It's what I love. I'm so happy to be here working with Erica, assisting her with anything she needs, and working with the team. The team is amazing. I love the events and programs we have, and it's a joy to be here. And I look forward to, I've already met Charlotte numerous times at the concerts. We talk during the concerts, and I look forward to meeting everyone else and helping and assisting in any way I can. So just thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for letting me be part of your team.
And I just want to mention too that while Jeff does oversee the Tennis and Swim Center, he will also oversee the community center. And he and I have been working very closely on a lot of our capital improvement projects. So he has his hand in a lot of things around the city. So if you have any questions on those facilities, him and I are your guys. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you. We have 2 new members on our commission. Would you like to introduce them, Erica? I know that's not in the agenda, but it seems like a perfect time.
Yes, it is a perfect time and very appropriate. Thank you, Charlotte. Anita. So I had a meeting with Anita. This week's a blur. I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. Anita was a teacher for 44 years, I believe she said.
Yay!
Yeah, so she brings that experience to our team. Anita, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've lived in Calabasas for about 20 years. I love Calabasas. I taught in LAUSD, and I've taught children from the very youngest right through to high school. So I love teaching. I love being with young people, and I'm very interested to see what facilities are offered for our teenagers, because I remember when my children were teenagers, it was just so wonderful to have the commons and have Safe Air, the swim and tennis club, and I just love Calabasas. I love the outdoor life, and very grateful to be a member here.
Thank you, Anita. And Brad, I haven't met Brad because he was appointed last night at City Council. So Brad, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Unfortunately, I am driving right now. I was running a little bit late, so sorry about this, but I can still talk and not kill myself. Um, so I've lived in Calabasas for about 3.5 years now, moved from Valley Village. Loving it, just like find it just such a great, peaceful place to live. Love the swim and tennis center, just so many aspects about the mountains. Personally, right now, I'm the owner operator of a landscape company, Eco Landscape. So I'm a landscape contractor. We're a design build firm. So we just do lots of different projects all throughout LA, residential, very little commercial, but mainly residential. I have a background where I lived in Latin America for a long time, and I lived in the rainforest. I did many different projects there. Worked with, in different biological centers in the Amazon rainforest. So bringing a totally different experience to the city of Calabasas. So very excited.
Thank you. Welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I just loved hearing about the two new commissioners. It's really nice to have you both aboard, and to have somebody who owns a business in the community is great. And to have a retired teacher like myself, that's even better because. But I'm happy that your children enjoy the Commons. My children are at the Commons, and went through the high school and the school district. So it's really great to have you on board too. Okay. Our next item is oral communications, public comments, and that's for citizens wishing to address the commission on matters not on the agenda. Julie, yes.
No, I just had one quick question while we were on that agenda item of introductions. Were we able to appoint then at the last meeting the student commissioner, Davis? And if so, is he joining us, or where's the status on that?
Yeah, we weren't able to because we didn't have a quorum, and he couldn't attend tonight's meeting. So
Okay.
we're going to have to do that at our next regularly scheduled meeting in April.
And he is presumably only serving through this academic year, which would be 1 or 2 meetings then? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good question, Julie. Thank you. All right. Our new business is the election of the chair and a vice chair.
Charlotte, we have to go back to the oral communications. Did we have any public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Melissa, is there anyone?
Not at this time, no.
All right. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Oh, dokey. New business. It was really a nice experience for me to serve as the chair, but it is a lot of work to stay in front of all the issues. But it's now time for me to give up my gavel, my invisible gavel. And hopefully, is there anybody, I would like to nominate my successor. And I would like to nominate Stephanie Williams. I think she's been on the commission the longest. And of the remaining commissioners. Stephanie, is this something you would be interested in doing?
Sorry, that was a long unmute. I would be interested in doing this. Thank you so much, Chair Charlotte.
Okay. I forgot what to do now. Oh, now I say, is there a second?
There is very much a second.
Okay. Is there a second, everybody?
Yes.
Brad, are you still with us?
Yes, I second it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so all those in favor of appointing Stephanie to be the new chair of the commission, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
Okay, motion
I vote for
passed
myself.
5-0. And Stephanie, you are now the chair. I can just kick back now. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm going to let you then run the rest of the meeting. Is that
Charlotte,
right? Is that what I should be doing now?
yeah. So Charlotte, you have to finish this item and we have to vote for the vice chair.
Yeah, I know. Oh, so that's Stephanie's going to take it over, and she's going to. Is that what or should I continue?
Take it over after we elect the vice chair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So is there a motion to appoint the vice chair, Stephanie?
I move that we name Julie Elginer as our vice chair.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, Anita seconds it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is that okay with you, Julie?
Julie, you gonna vote for
Sure,
yourself?
I'm
Okay.
going, that's a little awkward, but sure, yes.
All those in favor? Oh, I already did that. Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Okay, so now does Stephanie run the rest of the meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Stephanie, the ball's in your court.
Thank you. I will take the ball and say my first act as chair is to thank you for your extraordinary efforts as chair, Charlotte. You really did give a tremendous amount of your time, and we really appreciate your work on the commission. And you're not done. We're still going to call you with all of our questions and see you at all of our events and everything. So thank you for everything you did as chair. And now we will count on you as a very, very active member. Okay, so looking at the agenda, our next order of business is to appoint a commissioner to the Art and Public Places Commission. It's not actually a commission, right?
It's
Advisory committee, sorry. Is there someone who would like to serve in this role? It's really important, and I don't think we've had we learned last year that some things happened with the funding for the Art and Public Places that I think our commission could really be on top of and make sure don't happen in the future.
Stephanie, can I add something there? I had spoken to, Megan couldn't be here tonight, but she volunteered. She's also the Arts Council liaison. So she volunteered if you're okay to appoint her in that position and everyone else is okay with that. She volunteered to do that, to sit on the Art and Public Places Committee.
That sounds great. Is there a motion to have Megan be our commissioner to the Art and Public Places Advisory Committee? I see Charlotte.
I moved to do. Yes, so moved.
And seconded,
By Julie.
Elginer.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Can I just jump in and say one thing? I think the agenda item is very well written, except I would just like to add one thing to give a little insight into what this job is. We have 3 art and public places that I can think of off the top of my head. One is the obelisk on Park Sorrento, which has the pumpkin vines crawling up the obelisk. Another one that's in front of the Avanti project. We have another one which is in the library, and that is the ceiling of the children's library. And then the third one is really a spectacular one, and that's in front of City Hall, and that's our red-tailed hawk. And so hopefully our representatives will get a little bit of training on what they can and can't do, and understand how to access the money. And we have to wait for, we have a development currently. We don't know we don't even know how much money is there. So maybe that we could find out and get them rolling, because it's a really wonderful job. I had two friends who did it, and I was so jealous of them because they really were having more fun than I was. Okay.
Thank you, Charlotte. I think those are good points. Erica, can we make sure that we find out how much is in the current budget and any closing dates for the development, so that we know we can move forward and be sure the money is on art in public places?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so our next new business is the staff's recommendation to move forward with the consultant. I know we have a staff report on this.
Mm-hmm.
Erica, is this your staff report? I'm sorry, it's like
Yes.
squinting.
Yes, thank you, Chair Meyer. I'm sorry, Chair Williams. So before you is an item to move forward with the process to secure a consultant to provide a programming assessment for the Community Services Department. So how this came about, was one with the city council's strategic priorities that our department specifically has. We have 4 of those initiatives in the strategic priorities. 2 of those, one is to reopen the Agoura Hills Calabasas Community Center, and to conduct a feasibility study for teen recreation programs and facilities. So with the addition of the community center coming under the umbrella of the Community Services Department, and with it being closed for so long, we really wanted to get an assessment of programming that we want to put at that facility so we can open it successfully. So we reached out, we put an RFP together and posted that twice within the last 6 months. And we had one responsive bidder. The staff report that came to you for the January meeting was actually to award a contract with one of the consultants. After some discussions with the consultants and some of our the task force, council members, city manager, it was deemed that we would like to kind of reduce the scope of that. That scope had the programming and facility needs. So that being said, meaning if there was some sort of programming that the city wanted to provide and we didn't have the facility, they were going to kind of tell us long-term what facilities we would need, which is kind of basically sort of like a parks master plan. So in looking at that, we wanted to reduce the scope. It was about $250,000. So what we decided to do, and what we have for your approval tonight, is to rebid this project more with a programming element in mind, and look at the programming not only at the community center, but the entire community services. Is that Brad? It's on there twice. I'm just going to mute you, Brad.
Sorry.
I think he just needs to mute his phone. It's actually the phone. There you go.
So what we plan to do is to rewrite the scope to focus primarily on programming for all of the Community Services Department facilities, including the community center, and reposting that. And hopefully we could actually target programming consultants, and we had staff research and found some all around the country that we could target for this request for proposal. And if approved, we would obviously work with the PRE very closely throughout the process to help achieve our deliverables, which is obtaining a tangible report on how we can maximize our current facilities with programming, and how we can reopen the community center and have it function as it needs to be for the community. So, so the requested action tonight is we're asking that the commission approve to move forward with the process to secure a consultant to provide a programming assessment for the Community Services Department. That's the end of my report. If there's any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer any.
Julie.
Thank you for that summary, Erica. And one question that I had is the $100,000 amount, and it's certainly down from 250, but I have to say I was still quite shocked at essentially what you're talking about is like a gap analysis for $100,000. That scope seemed still extremely high. And so I'm just curious, is that a reasonable amount to be spending on identifying programming and best practices and those kinds of things? I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Sure. The allocated amount that was in our capital improvement projects funding to do the $100,000 for a feasibility study and programming. Consultants nowadays are about quadruple what they used to be. So something that was 100,000 before is 500,000 nowadays. So the 100,000 for the programming assessment is relatively market standard. And we just really, the point of the assessment is one, to maximize what we are doing in our facilities. So if, let's just say at the senior center, there's so much activity and things happening there. do we need to utilize other facilities to accommodate some of those programming?
Oh,
Do we need in the future to have additional facilities to accommodate that programming? Also, we don't want the community center to just be independent of our other facilities. We want to crossover with classes, programs, and make sure we're actually providing what the community needs. So with the community center, that model that we had before, unfortunately, wasn't the best model. So we don't want to go back to those same programs, activities that were there before. Although some of those were successful, we will implement those, but we would just want to know what the function is, especially with it being closed for 2.5 years. Are people going to come back and use the gym again? Did they get LA Fitness gym memberships? There's a lot of corporations around there. Do they want daycare while they're at work? Do they want actual recreation programming? Should it be an extension of the senior center? So we really just want to make sure that we're opening that facility to be successful, especially with the funding that we're putting in to reopen the facility, and also enhance and maximize the current facilities we have. So I think it's a valuable tool. We are looking to do a Parks Master Plan in the future. Again, those are running about $500,000 to $600,000 nowadays. So we're just trying to get the most information to help us succeed in that regard and really maximize the space. So this is not only a gap analysis, but it's really going to look at the rooms in our facilities. Are we maximizing the times in the rooms and what the community actually would use it for? So I think that's a valuable tool for our department, especially to open the community center. So
Great. Very helpful. And I would completely concur that we need that without a doubt, particularly for certain populations like the teens.
yes.
I was just a little bit shocked at the dollar amount. So I think what you're telling me is that I should quit being a UCLA professor and I should open my consulting business, because I'm fairly sure Stephanie and I are ready to do that.
That is absolutely true.
We should move out of higher education learning and we should move into the private sector.
Yeah, we're in the wrong business. But again, that's just what was allocated. Once we post this bid, we'll see what comes back with that. But that is a fair point. Thank you, Julie. Any other questions?
I have one. Okay, go ahead, Charlotte, please.
oh, okay. I agree with Julie that it was pretty high, the amount of money that was originally allocated. It came to like $278,000. And that kind of, okay, but not having done that before, I didn't know what was the reasonable amount to expect. But the one thing that I do that did made me a little uncomfortable was a sentence in the fiscal impact source of funding, and that is additional funding could be reallocated from sidewalk repair funding. I haven't shared with anybody on this commission, but this is one of my things that I've really been working on for about almost 2 years now, and that is identifying sidewalks that are dangerous. And the city staff has been very, very accommodating. They have shaved a lot of the sidewalks down because we've had 2 very serious falls, one in Mulwood and one around the corner from my house on Park Sorrento. And when somebody my age falls, it's a bad fall, but it could also be a fatal fall.
Yes.
Even though it's just a bad fall. So I've identified, I have my book. It looks a little bit like this. You can see it, and it has all the streets that I walk on, and I walk around with my head down. And I've been collecting all of the dangerous sidewalks. And a dangerous sidewalk is a sidewalk that has lifted. And the city has been fantastic in identifying those sidewalks with a red stripe. And as you walk around our community on Park Granada, Park Sorrento, around on my street, on Park Oro, Park Capri, you will see a multitude of these sidewalks. But the problem is the last grant was done for the west side of Calabasas, and we are anxiously awaiting to have all of these dangerous sidewalks repaired. And so when I saw that, I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to take my money away from me and they're going to use it for this team programming. And as far as if I was going to weigh the two, I would say safety would have to trump it for right now. So I would just like some reassurance that we're not going to dip into the sidewalk repair money, and we're going to leave that to where it needs to be, because we're still waiting for those sidewalks to be replaced. And two of them have just been identified on my street, on my little cul-de-sac. So I'm really excited about that. So, but because I walk around a lot also, so it's.
Thank you, Charlotte. And Tatiana is the expert on the street repair. I just want to make it clear that no funding would be taken. There was funding allocated from CDBG for street repair or sidewalk repair, but no money would be taken away from that. So Tatiana, I'll let you.
And I appreciate someone did go into the parking lot at Wild Walnut Park, because we needed to enlarge it, and that was a good investment of those funds. But still, right now, we still have the. Okay.
And before Tatiana, before you go, because that was my question as well, but with so what I read is 100,000 was approved in the current capital improvement project budget.
Yes.
Is that 100,000 for this?
Yes.
So they're saying, here's your bucket. You can use 100 of it this way, and your bucket got 100 smaller.
No, so 100 was approved in the capital improvement projects budget outside of the sidewalk repair. So it was 100,000. When the proposal came back at 250, the city said that we could use some of the funding that was allocated towards the sidewalk repair, because it is now being funded by the CDBG grant. But right now, only 100,000 is approved, not from any funding, but the city's general fund for the program assessment.
Thank you. And sorry, Tatiana. Okay, now teach us about this, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Charlotte, I would like to assure you that we do have a project that will repair a sidewalk on the east side of town. And actually, the contract was approved by the city council last night.
Oh, okay.
And there's funding available. There's different sources of funding. There's a community development grant, and there's recovery money. So there's no money taking from that project, and it's going forward.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Just to let you know, I personally reported 40 dangerous sidewalks.
It's a big list.
It's been an upset. People see me now walking down the street, and they say, Charlotte, I always see you walking, but your head is down. But a lot of them have already been repaired because it's an ongoing effort by your department. But
yeah, there's also a sidewalk maintenance program on top of the capital improvement project, but that project is about to start.
Charlotte, I feel like we should get you a little badge that's like a little sidewalk badge or something.
I call myself
I don't know, like a vest or a badge. I don't know. That's actually.
I call myself the sidewalk sheriff.
No. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's really incredible that you've done that. What a huge asset. So thank you.
Absolutely, it's appreciated very much.
But we just don't want anybody else to fall.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you. That was so great. What good timing, Tatiana.
Do any other commissioners have questions?
Oh, I have one question.
And I have one more budget question. I'm married to a consultant. I'm not sure he'll agree that his salary has quadrupled. So you used the phrase a minute ago, only 100,000, Erica.
Yes.
It's an awful lot of money.
Yes.
To have someone tell us that the classes that didn't work, that we knew didn't work. I mean, your explanation showed a vast depth of knowledge of what we had before, what was working, what wasn't, the kinds of things we want to do. I mean, is there any way that we can, so we're going out to bid, we're going to hope the bids come in. Do the bidders know they have $100,000 budget?
No. The bids will, however the bids come in, if it comes in at 20,000, we're good. If it comes in at 100, it's been allocated. If it comes in more than that, then that's something we have to look at. And I think it's more than just, are we going to put yoga in the community center? It really is department wide, and really is going to be a useful tool for our entire department, and really give us and the community what it really needs, and not just what's been happening or status quo. So that's what we're looking to find. And yeah, I'm hoping we'll really get some information that'll be useful, and we can reopen the center and actually expand programming or enhance programming at our current sites.
Okay, thank you. And Charlotte, you said you had another comment.
I have one other, I want to throw one other issue in, and that is I've been requested to figure out a way that the preschool at Creekside Park can coexist with the remainder of the park. And I think that might require some kind of fencing that the other private preschools have, or maybe an investigation into the licensing agreement, because there's no reason why they can't put up a fence in like they do at all the preschools my grandchildren went to. And you have a bell, you ring the bell and it opens up, and I don't know, some way that we can figure out a way for those two entities, the park, because we are short on parks on the east side, and the preschool can coexist. And by the way, all the improvements you've made to the basketball and the picnic benches are appreciated.
Thank you. I think with the issue with the park and the preschool is that for a licensed preschool, there's a state requirement that there's so much play space and so much actual square footage for the preschool. So it's not as if we can just put a fence between those two and put another entry into another school. There's these safety issues, there's state requirements. I'll look into exactly what those are, but that's the reason why it has not happened yet. But I can definitely look into it more. I had just asked that question when we were looking at Wild Walnut and, trying to figure out how we can get more park space over there. And that was one of it. Like, could we fence that off and put as entry for the public to use and keep the preschool separate? But again, the state requires so much room, and that's a required area for the preschool. So I'll get
that license was created a long time ago. Things may have changed.
So they have to get this new license yearly. It's a state license. They have to be. Yeah, the state comes out and inspects the preschools annually to ensure that they're meeting all the state requirements. Because, like you said, Charlotte, those change all the time. So they got to make sure. So I'll get detailed information on that and share it with the commission. But I think that's the reason why that hasn't been done so far.
Well, anything that you can tell me, I will pass along, because the Mullwood HOA is chomping at the bit to have more access to that park.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Do any other commissioners have questions for staff before we vote on the recommendation that we move forward with the process of securing a consultant? Okay, is there a motion?
You want to read the motion? Staff recommends.
So what staff recommends is Parks, Recreation and Education Commission approve to move forward with the process to secure a consultant to provide a programming assessment for Community Services Department.
Can I add not to exceed $100,000?
I'm not making the motion. I'm just reading what staff asked the motion to be.
Okay. Well, since they've already been allocated $100,000, and a few of us are a little weary about the expense, can we just add? Can I make the motion?
You can.
You want me to make, or Julie, do you want to make the motion? Okay. I think that commission, the Parks, Recreation, Education Commission recommends that the staff move forward with a process to secure a consultant to provide a programming assessment for the Community Services Department not to exceed $100,000 as documented in the Strategic Priorities Work Plan. So is that a good motion? Is everybody comfortable with that?
I'll second that, Charlotte. I'll second that.
Okay.
Any discussion?
I
To
just
the
hope
extent
that
that it is over, I was just, from a discussion standpoint, to the extent that it's over, the purview of the city council to reallocate funds accordingly, but it is our recommendation that it does not exceed $100,000. It is not contingent upon, the project will not go forward contingent upon that threshold. I just want to be clear about that.
Correct.
And are we comfortable with 100,000 recommendation? Do we want to make it lower? Just because it's allocated doesn't mean we have to.
No,
Oh,
based on the
You're okay with 100?
I mean, I have to
Okay.
defer to, to Erica and the recommendation and the fact that she's in the process of securing RFPs in the class since she's joined, and that the fees have increased commensurate with, I can't say it's cost of living increases, but whatever you want to say, it seems as though it has far exceeded what would have been the threshold previously. So I will defer to her expertise. It has been duly noted that we have expressed concern over the fee structure for this assessment, but we all agree, based on the discussion, that there is a need for it in conjunction with the expertise of our staff. And we are specifically identifying that a $100,000 threshold seems reasonable, with a pause, but and we'll just kind of play it by ear at that point.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
I just want to add one more thing. These are already mentioned in the agenda item. So, but I just want to emphasize it. I like the idea that we're going to be kept accountable, kept informed of the progress. So we would get sort of like, we met with these HOAs, and we met with the school district, and we visited AC Stell Middle School and talked to the principals there, because we have so many different stakeholders, and we have so many people who have so many opinions. This is not a shy place. And we have ideas, and so we want to share them. So I think the first thing is that the pre would be held, would be kept informed, and the second is over multiple meetings. So at the last agenda, when we were at $287,000, was 30 meetings. I don't think you're going to be able to keep that going. They might have to consolidate some groups.
Yes.
But that's something that's going to have to work through. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call for the question then. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Brad, did you vote?
Did you abstain? So Brad, is your raised hand A, or yes or no?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, having Zoom issues. You guys can't see my video, can you?
We can see your video and your raised hand. We just didn't know if that meant yes or no.
Yes, aye.
Okay, so then it
Okay.
passes unanimously. Okay, our next item on the agenda. Sorry, this is my very tired eyes. Going back to the front of the packet. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, so we are moving on to continued business of the Wild Walnut Park project approval, and that is Erica's.
Yes. So the item before you tonight is a recommendation to move forward with the Wild Walnut Park project. And I will go through kind of some background on where we are at. We have Jeff Maxwell, who's the landscape architect for the project, and Tatiana and Robert have joined us if there's any questions for their expertise. So in April 2019, the City Council approved the Wild Walnut Master Plan, which included a dog park, play area, parking lot, and portable restrooms. In June 2020, City Council rejected all the bids related to the project. And the City Council gave direction to install a temporary dog park and value engineer the Wild Walnut Park or Wild Walnut Master Plan and determine other funding sources for a permanent park. In August 2020, the temporary dog park installation began and opened in September of that year. In July 2022, staff presented the value engineered plans to the pre and then to City Council in August of 2022, who approved the funding, but had asked that we move the playground area away from Mulholland Highway. In November 2022, staff presented 2 schematic options to the community at a public engagement workshop and received feedback on those schematics. Based on the feedback, 2 additional options were presented at a December 5th and December 12th workshop. Staff distributed a survey to the Calabasas community to determine their preference of the 2 options. Option D, which is attached in the your packet, was chosen with 54.73% of the votes. The schematics are now being finalized, and our next steps are to secure or determine the playground equipment, finalize the plans, prepare the bid documents to go out to bid. So in the request that we're asking you to move forward is asking that we move forward in that process, preparing plans for bidding, which I'll have to return to City Council to award the contracts based on the bid results. Again, the fiscal impact, City Council approved $800,000, and we have an estimated $295,000 in tentative grant funding from the LA County Regional Park and Open Space District, which is a little over $1 million. So the requested action that you approve me moving forward with the design and bid process. Are there any questions?
Before I make the motion, I just wanted to say that I so appreciate a couple of things. Number one, the public forums that have been held, the opportunities to engage with the community, you know, survey responses of upwards of 350 respondents. Yes, in a community of 25,000, you'd love to have more, but you know, like just generally speaking, I want to just let you know that I appreciate the thoroughness with which you're obtaining or attempting to obtain data and to be able to guide the insights and recommendations that you're making. I am very much a data person, and so I just want to let you know I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, I also was very happy to see the community outreach, and I know, as Julie said, like there's a lot of people here and not everybody chimed in, but I appreciate that you really tried and went to the vote and are following a very arduous process to try and use that land the best way possible. So thank you.
Thank you.
Charlotte?
Where can we see plans for this? Sorry, excuse me.
Oh, go ahead, Brad.
Where are there plans that we can see for this? Is this?
So
was-
on page,
Sorry, go ahead. Sure.
it's around page 16 of the packet. There's a color, the option D is there, the schematic.
At the end.
Almost
What
at the
packet?
end.
I don't know if I have the packet for the.
There was a new one today. Melissa, right? It went out today?
Yes, it went out late yesterday.
Late yesterday. Okay, it's all a blur.
Who sent it?
I'm going to share the screen, Brad.
Perfect. Thank you.
You can see it here. Everyone see that?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
how
you.
beautiful.
Yes.
Gee, that's really pretty.
So there's some minor tweaks that Jeff is making to this, but all in all, that's where we landed. With the small dog park being out towards Mulholland, the large here. Jeff, is there anything else you want to say about?
Is it to continue to be mulch in the dog areas?
Correct.
Yeah. I'm sure that's the easiest to maintain.
Yes.
Yeah. So there will be a restroom now. This is amazing.
It won't be permanent restrooms. Those are going to be temporary, but it'll be a restroom. Yes. And so we'll have the playground here, some benches. We may even have some picnic tables in this area. We'll have picnic tables here in this walnut grove. We were calling it the picnic grove. Some benches, kiosk, water, some shade. and utility gates for our maintenance staff to get in there. And of course, we have the awesome parking lot, thanks to the public works staff. Yeah, so that's the final design that we landed on. And like I said, we will be getting the playground equipment together to place in the bid, getting the bid packets together, and then moving forward if you all approve us moving forward in that direction.
Could I say something while that's up?
Sure.
I'm noticing, first of all, I'm very happy that I got to see the words picnic tables, because on my copy, it was a little blurred and I couldn't, I remember we talked about having those tables, because when my granddaughter and somebody else's granddaughter bring their little troops to the park after school, this is going to serve the brownies and the Girl Scouts from Chaparral mostly. There'll be picnic tables and they can have their meetings outside after school, which would be such a different kind of lifestyle. That would be really nice for them. But I'm looking at the where it says Topanga Canyon Road, and where the restrooms are. That's adjacent almost to a street, and it doesn't look like there's a barrier between when they skip over by themselves to go to the bathroom. Will there be a barrier there to keep those, to separate the street from the driveway?
Yes, this is kind of a barrier here.
Oh, there's a barrier. Oh,
Yeah,
I
this
see
is
that.
barrier here if they were coming this way. We may even be bringing the restroom a little closer and a little further down this way. But yes, there will be a barrier. We won't just allow the kiddos to walk over there without any protection.
And there's one more thing that wasn't mentioned, and I'm sure you're going to provide it, and that is some shade cloths or sails on the play equipment. It just wasn't mentioned.
Yes, the play equipment itself will have shade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we have the shade for the folks that bring their little dogs, big dogs, and sit on these benches. We'll have some shade. These blocks are kind of just saying that we'll have some shade. We will probably have more of a unique look of a kind of a sail, just so it's not so obtrusive visually, aesthetically. We want to make sure we can keep the beauty of the park, which was a high priority in the survey, but still give everyone what they need. So this is kind of just here's where everything's going to go, but once finalized, it may, tweak just a little bit.
Okay.
So Brad, did you get to ask your question in addition to asking for the schematic?
Yeah, is this the total area of the park? Does it, because I know it extends up into the hillside where the forest is, right?
This is the total usable area.
Total usable area. Perfect, yeah.
I know this looks flat over here and I wish we could use that, but this is a sloped area as well.
It's sloped, yeah, I know the area.
Yeah.
Julie?
This is a question for Jeff Maxwell. Is there an opportunity in the future to perhaps install electric vehicle charging stations at that parking lot?
Oh, good idea.
Well, that is a good question, and maybe Tatiana and Robert can help me answer that, but I believe that just from the physical aspects of it, if there was electricity put into the park, Tatiana, can you help me on that?
We didn't even look at this installation because the parking area, the parking stalls are just enough to utilize for people who come here to bring their dogs and and their kids to play. There maybe in the future we'll see how well it is utilized and what is the business of this park. We can look at it in the future, but at this point, no, there is no plans to install electric vehicle charging stations there.
No, I understand. Thank you, Tatiana. I'm not suggesting there's plans. I'm encouraging, as this is being scoped out, to recognize that there may be a desire and a need in the future to install electric vehicle charging stations, specifically as more and more Calabasas residents move towards electric vehicles. If in the planning stages, there's an opportunity to take that into consideration, I'm encouraging that to be built into the plans.
Is there
We
any
can make a
electrical
note
on
for the
site?
future.
I don't believe there's any electrical on site. Is there, Tatiana?
No, there's not.
Yeah.
There's not. So there will be a separate project that we'll have to work with Southern California Edison to install transformers. So it's a larger project, but we can make a note for the future.
Got it. I understand. I just, I was part of the commission that originally mapped out where the electric vehicle charging stations maps were in the city of Calabasas relative to where the number of Calabasas residents that had electric vehicles. And there was certainly both a need and a desire to have EV charging stations on that part of Calabasas. So I wanted to make sure that we are taking that into consideration as we are moving forward with any future projects.
Thank you.
Thank you for a comment.
Any other questions?
One more thing.
Go ahead, Charlotte.
Okay. Jeff Maxwell, are you still, I don't see you there, but I think you're there. We hadn't talked about a monument sign for the park. I think that's kind of something that the community would take great pride in when we finally open it, to have something there with some, in that corner, some natural landscaping.
All right.
Not, you know, flowery, but using the natural, but indigenous flora and fauna that we have. It would be nice to have something there, or something to think about.
Yeah. We do have it in the plan, and we are fashioning that, kind of copying the existing sign that that will be demolished.
Thanks.
It's an item that previously we had considered it an additional alternative, meaning if our budget allowed, this piece would be implemented into the plan. As we look into, once we finish our construction documents and we do an engineer's cost estimate, most likely that will be included.
Okay.
And I agree, we need to have some kind of signifier or little, I guess a sign there at the corner would be nice. Yeah.
So I see we do have a member of the public in our attendees group. But Melissa, no one said they wanted, oh, and she raised her hand. Rosa, would you like to speak? Oh, but now she's muted.
Yeah. Now I just unmuted.
Oh, you're
Hear me?
here. Great. We can.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephanie, for seeing me here. I want to first of all welcome Brad as a new member of the commission, and Anita. And Brad, I see you have a little furry member with you. Even better. Very cute. So I am.
Appreciates the park.
Yes, I'll see you at the park, Brad. I'm hopeful that this will happen this year. To the new commissioners, our group has worked very hard and long to see the final product, and that we will have kids and dogs and community all enjoying this facility. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is the year that it'll happen. As I'm getting older and I need to have my tush on that bench while I talk to my friends and have my dog go crazy. So yes, let's move ahead and get it done, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosa, for always being here and doing so much for our whole community on this project. We really appreciate you. Okay, any other comments?
Can I just, is anyone interested in seeing some of the playground equipment that we,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
so we're still figuring things out, but we really found some equipment that is unique that we thought would be amazing. So let me just share my screen here. So this is
Oh, my God.
this is kind of where we went to, where it still is the natural look, but it's thinner, kind of in, it's not so bulky for the area. So we will really keep an amazing aesthetic background and it'll almost blend in. But as you can see, we have the shade sails. There's pieces we want to add on to this. Of course, we'll have swings and things, but we really thought this could be our starting point. I think we have some other, these colors aren't really it, but it's kind of the same theme that we were thinking. Areas like this, the ropes course in the middle. So there's some things we were looking at, and then a kind of a smaller footprint for swings because we don't have a huge area. But and then here's some of this, the standalone features we were thinking, and of course these would all match and be relative to one another. We thought maybe this could be kind of on some of the higher sloped areas. We could utilize the landscape to give another element of play. Whoops. But really we're looking at this type to kind of start it and then move off of that. So how does everyone feel about this look?
I'm trying, I like the way it looks, but I'm not sure how they use it. Is it all, is it that you climb up the stairs or?
So this is rope, it's ropes. So
Oh, that's ropes. Okay.
yeah, this is all rope climbing, and there's different variations of this. So we will take what the community recall in one of our surveys. We asked to rate these amenities 1 to 10, which was of most importance. So we will select a combination of things that still do the upper body, climbing, but this
Balance.
yes, balance. Yeah. So we just thought this slimmer kind of look would work well and be really unique to Wild Walnut. There's nothing out like this in Calabasas, and we thought it would be very nice. So Jeff and I are working with the manufacturer of this, and hopefully we'll get a design specifically for Wild Walnut. And if you approve for us to move forward, that's exactly what we're going to do. So.
Well, I've seen children really enjoy that horizontal ladder that they go across.
Yes.
That's really the upper body. And
Yeah.
there's one other thing that they used to have, but I don't see it being used anymore. And it was like a bar that went like this, and there was, stand, and the kids would hold onto it, and then they would flip over. Their bodies would literally flip over. Do they still have that?
No, they do.
They don't have it.
Yes, they've deemed those too unsafe, so those have been removed from playground equipment. So I loved it.
I loved seeing my kids, my students love it, but I have not seen it. Now I know why.
Julie?
I was just going to say thank you so much for sharing that, and I'd like to call the question and move forward with and calling for a motion, a second, and moving forward.
So the staff's requested action, the motion would be to approve that staff move forward with the design and bid process. I don't believe the chair can make a motion. So Julie, is that your motion?
That is my motion. So moved.
Is there a second? Anita, thank you. All in, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That's 5-0, the motion carries.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. Eric, you're getting so much done. You're a good spender.
Thank you, everyone. Our next agenda items are committee reports. Do we have an arts report from Megan?
We don't.
Okay, so that next would be the JPA. Is our new JPA person? Who is our new JPA person?
We'll have to figure that out. I can give an update on
that. Would be great.
That.
Thank you.
So with the community center, we ordered the roof materials in the end of December. There's a 3 to 5 month lead time on those materials, and then a 3 to 4 month construction time. So we're well on our way, which is great. So we're awaiting the arrival of those. The city of Agora Hills received a federal earmark grant for $1 million, and Jeff Campbell and I met with their community services director today to kind of go over the projects that will be included in that earmark funding. So there'll be some maintenance inside of the community center as well. So we're excited about that. So we're hoping to do all of these things concurrently and open before the end of the year. So that's our goal. But again, that's contingent upon supply and demand, and if we get the roof materials in time. So our project managers ready and ready to go. Our construction contractors ready to go. Our team is getting ready. As you know, the city of Calabasas is leasing the entire facility, and we will be responsible for the operations, which falls under the community services department. So Jeff and some other members of our team are meeting weekly to go over the need to transition over from Agora Hills with some of the administrative, and then also the actual facility itself with computers and supplies and things like that. So it's quite the undertaking, but we're moving along and excited to have that in our under our oversight.
Julie?
I just wanted to say that for any of our new commissioners or anyone that may not have watched, there was an opportunity for that Erica led with an update on this project, and it was a recorded session. It's only about 30 minutes. So I would encourage everyone to check out the Calabasas YouTube channel and to watch the session. It included comments from the architect or from the project. It also included really cool drone footage. And so you were able to see where the roof is in need of repairs. And then there were comments from and questions from the community, and it included maybe 5 or 6 questions, but some really good, thoughtful questions about the phased opening, if that was a consideration, all of those other kinds of things. So I would encourage everyone, if you don't have a question for Erica, to redirect your time to watch that video for 30 minutes, because I think that you will become much more informed. And thank you again for hosting that.
Yes, thank you.
Great point. Thank you so much, Julie. Any questions? Our next report, committee report, is on the senior center.
Sometimes I see.
Oh, that's me. Okay. All right. As usual, I have a long report, so we do a lot of things over there. The Calabasas Senior Center recently hosted a public engagement workshop yesterday that was attended by about 100 savvy seniors interested in learning more about the Cruzon Development Company's intention to build a 107-unit apartment complex adjacent to the Civic Center on the parking lot that is currently used by the library, the City Hall, and the Senior Center. There was a lot of questions, and the developer representative was patient and explained everything very thoroughly. Discussions will continue. This is a long process, and there will be relevant meetings for the public to attend, and we will be notified of those. In spite of that distraction, the Savvy Senior staff and the volunteers are fully engaged. Last Tuesday, about 30 Savvy Seniors, including myself, attended the movie 80 for Brady at the newly opened Regency Theater. Every Tuesday has been designated Senior Day, but I call it Savvy Senior Day. And admission all day and night will be reduced from $12 to $8 every Tuesday. The Senior Center has a movie club, and anyone interested in joining our movie club can contact me, Charlotte Meyer, through the Calabasas Senior Center to get on the movie club email list. We are planning monthly meetings, monthly get-togethers on Tuesdays, seeing a movie and dining together nearby. So that's something that we're planning on doing in the near future. Other social events will be planned monthly, including a Mocktail and Kisses Valentine-themed get-together on Wednesday, February 15th. The event is being generously sponsored by David Watkins, a local realtor, Trader Joe's, and Anthem Blue Cross. David Watkins has a special surprise for every woman attending, and if you do come, it will make you smile. There is still room to register. On March 17th, we're going to have a St. Patrick's Day event on Friday, March 17th, yeah. And it will be called the Shamrock Rock. And there will be a DJ playing music from 50s and 60s and delicious green milkshakes and other surprises. On May 2nd, we will have an event called Taco Tuesday with a real mariachi band, and the band and the food will be completely sponsored by David Watkins. On June 23rd, the Savvy Seniors will be celebrating our 7th anniversary birthday party celebration. Also, every Wednesday is Tech Help Day from 4 to 7:45, provided by our Genius High School students. Bring your cell phones and computers and just drop in if you need help. And that's my report.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Charlotte. And then next on our agenda is the director's report. You're on mute, Erica.
A few things that I wanted to notify the commission and the members of the public are the Tennis and Swim Center capital improvement projects. So with our approved CIP project list, there are quite a few tennis and swim center projects that were approved over the next 5 years. A few of those are approved for this year and next year. One of those that will be going to council on February 22nd is the resurfacing of the deck around the pools, and shortly after that, replastering the pools. So that went out to bid. We received those bid proposals back and are going to council to award that contract to redo those. First the pool deck, and then we'll go out to bid for the replaster. We are going to council on February 22nd, but we are postponing the project to begin in November. There was some clarification needed for a contractor's license, which pushed us back a couple of weeks. And to ensure that we weren't running into the summertime months, we decided to move it to November. So that's one of the things we're working on. We're also looking to start the outdoor pavilion area where the playground used to be, which will remove the berm and place concrete there. We probably will put a canopy above that and move some outdoor fitness equipment there. We have some plans that we're looking at, but that's a project that we might start sooner than later. We also have the roof repair, which is for the 23-24 budget that we're going to look to start doing. Kitchen appliances. There's a lot of CIP projects going on there that Jeff is actually leading. But we're excited to actually get the pool deck replaced. It hasn't been replaced since 1969, I believe. So for safety, we are going to do that. Our inspector says we're okay for now, but the sooner we can do it, the better. So we're looking to do that in the fall. The next thing is the National Recreation and Parks Association Walk with Ease grant. So the Senior Center applied for this grant for supporting healthy aging through Parks and Rec. So it's basically a walking program. They granted the Senior Center $3,000 to get some supplies, and it encourages participants to participate in a 6-week program 3 times a week to walk. So the staff will be trained on this program so they can lead this every week. So we're excited to get that going over the next few months. We'll probably start it in summer. So congratulations to the Senior Center team who got that grant. The next is the Capture Calabasas photo contest judging. The communications director and Commissioner Nagin reviewed all of the photo contest entries and decided on some winners, and they will be highlighted in the summer recreation brochure. And I know it was a recommendation of the commission to have those winners join us. So once, since we are going to have that meeting in April, we will bring those folks to congratulate them to the commission. So that's kind of good timing there. We're excited. We got double the amount of submissions. So the more we can promote that contest, the better. So we're excited about that. And finally, the pre-update email. I just want to make sure all the commissioners, I'm sure maybe Anita and Brad did not get it, but as I promised last time, because we're meeting quarterly and there's things happening, and I know I want to keep the commission updated. I sent a what's happening in community services. I created that header so you all would know that that's specifically what's going on in our department. And I hope that was helpful. So you can communicate that to any members of the public who's asking where we are with certain things. So I will continue to do that monthly. And I hope you appreciate that. So that's the end of my report. If there's any questions for me.
You got 2 big thumbs up on.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we definitely appreciated that. 3 thumbs up.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was a really helpful, excellent resource. So thank you. Thank you.
I would just like to ask a question. You know, the area when you walk into the tennis and swim club and you're walking towards the equipment or towards the snack bar, there's a whole wall there. We could display some of these award-winning, or even all of them, as many as we can, the photos that have been taken, if they're framed.
Yeah, we're thinking about the ways to promote that as well. Yeah, that's a great idea, Charlotte. We have an art exhibit that we do at the Tennis and Swim Center. We also have one at the Senior Center. So yes, that's a great idea. We may look at highlighting some of them at the library as well. So
yeah,
that's something that I'll get with Megan about to promote some of our arts in the city.
And also we have at the Senior Center a real professional ways of hanging things.
Yes.
And ours is not just a nail in the wall, but we keep them there forever and ever. Once they're up, you can keep them there. And actually the men who work for the city know how to do that. They set it up for us. They did it for us. We just had to purchase the equipment.
Yes, it looks great. So yes, we will look to do something similar. Thank you, Charlotte.
Okay, so that is our agenda. Does anyone have items to add for our next agenda? Oh, go ahead, please, Julie. Sorry.
So we missed commissioner comments. So I just want to make sure that we are addressing both commissioner comments and then future agenda items. So may I suggest that we go back to the commissioner comments and allow people to make comments before we move to agenda items? That would be my recommendation, Chair.
Yeah, and that was my plan going forward, that we would do have our welcome, have the commissioner comments, and then do our, approve the agenda and then have comments. So do you have comments for tonight?
I do, but I also recognize that other people may as well. And I am cognizant of my talk to listen ratio. And so I want to be able to offer others, particularly our new commissioners, a chance to offer their comments before I share mine.
I would like to comment on the Walnut Park. I think that what you're actually doing there, the plans are amazing. And it's such a beautiful location, but there's a lot of slope. So I'm really impressed with what you've come up with there.
Thank you. That's all, Jeff. Maxwell.
Julie, I think the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So my comments are the following before I get into new agenda items. I mentioned before about the Agora Calabasas Community Center roof update. So I want to say again, direct everyone to the YouTube channel if you haven't already seen that, particularly for our new members. If you are finding as though you would like to get some visibility to what we've been discussing over the last year or so, that's a wonderful resource. So I'd love to direct you there. I want to make one comment that I noted when Mary Sue Maurer and I were, as well as James Bazagian and Alicia Weintraub, we all participated as volunteers in the LA Counts program, which was the homeless or the opportunity to collect some data around people that are unhoused. And so we volunteered for about 4 hours that night. Our meeting location was in the senior center, and there were not recyclable containers that were available at the senior center. There was behind the desk for paper, but there were not visible recyclables for, or at least the opportunity to be able to participate in recyclables for bottles and cans. And so I would like to add that as a recommendation to make sure that that is on both floors throughout the senior center on a go-forward basis. It's absolutely beautiful on the trails right now. And as Parks and Recreations commissioners, I would encourage all of us to be both outside in, utilizing parks and rec and, all of those things. But please, as the super bloom is probably inevitable, please don't risk the environment to take a selfie. So I would encourage everyone to be mindful about how we are engaging with our parks and our facilities, whether it's within the city or outside of the city. So those would be just my initial comments before I add to, I have one more question before future agenda items. With the fact that we are now going to be leasing the Calabasas Agora Community Center from the city of Calabasas, is there going to be any effort to rename it? So instead of it being the Agora Calabasas, is it going to be exclusively Calabasas, or what discussions are underway around that?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. Right now, as a lease agreement, their name will remain on the building. However, in the lease agreement, there is a section that states that there will be long-term discussions for the city of Calabasas to own and operate the facility long-term. If both cities agree to that long-term decision on how that looks, then a name change will be looked at, but for now it will remain the shared name under the lease.
Thank you. Those are my comments, Chair. I yield.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, how about agenda items for our next meeting, which is on April 10th, 2023. Julie.
So I have a few agenda items that I'd like to propose for us, whether it's the next agenda or just in the future. And I'd like to pull up my list. Excuse me 1 second. Let me go back to that. Okay, so a couple of things. The first is I'd like us to be able to set a meeting schedule for the year. So could we please have the meeting schedule and we can all plan that out in advance. That's one agenda item. The next is I'd really like to encourage us and our commission to consider implementing best practice sessions. And this is something that we did in the Environmental Commission. It was very successful. So for those of you that are new to the commission role, or if you've not been part of this process, typically commissions go dark in the summer, not exclusively, but it's a time where most commissions aren't meeting as frequently, with the exception of Planning Commission in the city of Calabasas. So it's a wonderful time for all of us to have a publicly noticed meeting. We do not hold the meeting in chambers, or maybe I'm not sure how we would do this on Zoom, but we would get together in a conference room in the city, and we would go through our current programming and map out, it's an opportunity, as all good organizations do, to say what's working, what isn't, where could we improve, are we achieving our objectives, all of those kinds of things. So we've done that. We did this in the Environmental Commission for either 2 or 3 years. It was publicly noticed. We had public participation. We had excellent participation from students around particular issues that they wanted to chime in on. And it's just a wonderful way to practice good governance and management techniques, which is around being mindful of what we are doing and whether it's achieving our objectives. So I would like to encourage us as a commission to consider employing that approach.
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, I agree. Erica, can you look at a date? I know those conference rooms get booked, but if we could have some possible dates for conference rooms, and I second the, I'm on an HOA board where this drives me crazy that you can only figure out when the next meeting is by looking at the bottom of it. My life doesn't work that way, neither does our public's. So if we could, I understand the city says it's the whatever Monday of the certain month, that's very hard to decipher. So I think we should be much more transparent with the public about when we're meeting. And if I agree if that should be on an agenda as well. And I think, Julie, you weren't quite done with your items, so I'm going to go back to you.
Again, Chair, I apologize, but I have many things that I've been thinking about in terms of future agenda items. So
thank you. No, please go ahead.
Add those. My next agenda item, future recommendation for an agenda item is I'd like to encourage the Parks Rec and Education Commission to consider establishing a community-based award for PR&E, similar to the Carl Gibbs Environmental Excellence Award that's given by the Environmental Commission. Now, the California Parks and Recreation Society, of which the city is a member of, and it publishes a magazine that as commissioners we all get, there are awards that are offered there through the California Parks and Recreation. And there's one within the CPRS Awards of Excellence. They have an award at the state level, and I'd like us to think about modeling it at the city level, where we give the award to a deserving citizen, specifically under the Champion of Community Award. And if you would allow me to just read what this is at the state level, we could model it something at the city level. The Champion of the Community Award honors and recognizes individuals or organizations who have contributed significant effort to influence and improve the quality of their community through parks and recreation. This statewide award, but remove statewide and insert city award, recognizes the contributions of those who volunteer and provide support and services in their community that furthers the mission and quality delivery of parks or recreation services, programming, and facilities in their community. So I think that would be a wonderful thing if we could establish an award like that, that would be modeled after, again, what's being done in other commissions to recognize members of the community that are contributing to the Parks and Recreation. Again, a recommendation for an agenda item for the future. One more is I'd like to learn more about Freedom Park. In my 2 years of being on the commission, this has not been an agenda item that's been brought to us before, but a resident approached me about this. Evidently, this is a 1.7 acre park with a children's play area, but it is housed within a gated community near AC Stell. And it's not at all clear to me what the city's responsibility is for this gated park. It is listed as one of our parks, but it does not seem to be fully accessible to the public. So I'd like to get some visibility to what that situation is as part of this commission. And then lastly, a future agenda item is I would like to make an offer to host a parliamentary procedure training at a future meeting. Again, I recognize that the city attorney has hosted a training, but it's not very specific relative to how to run a meeting using parliamentary procedure, call for the vote, call for question, point of privilege, all of those other kinds of things. This is something that I've done both for the Environmental Commission on 2 different occasions, as well as other roles that I've had. I have this training already established, and I'd like to make a recommendation that we host that, particularly as we have new members that have joined. Those are all my agenda items, Chair.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have future agenda items? And then to follow up on the idea of Freedom Park, I know, Erica, we had to talk about moving the entrance. So an update on what's going on with that for the future would be helpful, as well as a general overview of the locked on behind gates Freedom Park. Thank you.
Sure.
Charlotte, did you have?
I was just going to say, I've been asked questions about the Calabasas Community Foundation. And I think that we need to get that out and discuss it in a way that it's not just a director's report, but people can come and ask questions about it. So that means it has to be agendized. And I do support your request for Freedom Park, and I support your request for like a retreat almost. It sounds like a retreat. We do that at the senior center. The advisory board does have something like a retreat. We do it at a room at the Hilton Garden Inn, actually.
So we would have to publicly notice. So as a commission,
it's noticed, yeah.
we can't have
It's not everybody on the advisory board, actually. Actually, it's community members who are involved in clubs or work or help us out. We created a little group, and we kind of meet once a year or once every 2 years. I think it's every year now, to just reflect on how we're doing and what we're not doing well and where we can improve.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point, right? Is having the opportunity to do the reflection. We would need it to be open, I presume, in city property or on Zoom. I like the conference room idea. I went to one that the Environmental Commission did that was in the, but yeah, it's a great idea.
School district does it too. I think it's just an integral part of every organization that wants to improve by reflecting on how they're doing.
Can I clarify for a couple, Julie, on a couple of the items that you mentioned? So for the meeting agenda and schedule, so there's council passed the resolution that we meet quarterly. So those dates are dictated at January, April, July, and October. So what we can do is obviously get that on the commissioner's schedule and try to get that on our website for the remainder of the year so everyone knows. So is there a specific agenda item with that you would like me to bring back, or would that suffice?
No, that would, from my standpoint, that would suffice. We just need to make sure that, at a future meeting that we're clear that it's this first Monday or whatever the date is. And it's also relative to making sure that we have quorum. Again, it's an opportunity to be clear about our responsibilities as commissioners. And if the dates don't work in advance for whatever reason, then especially it's much easier to have these meetings when we're on Zoom. It is, if the decision is made that we are moving back to in person, it's probably going to, involve adjusting people's travel schedule. I just think that if we have clarity, full transparency and clarity much earlier on, we will avoid the opportunity or the likelihood that we've got some sort of issues with quorum.
Sure. So we will get that on your schedules, and we will post that on the city meeting schedule. And then depending on how we move forward, and city council last night had asked that the city clerk send out the poll again to all the commissioners. So that should be coming to you on if you want to move to in person or the hybrid, which really means in person essentially.
Yeah. Right. I mean, under state law, that there's not going to be Zoom past April.
Right.
What did you say, Stephanie?
There's no more Zoom after April per state law, essentially. Hopefully we will be able, well, you all will vote, we'll all vote on whether we want to make some Zoom opportunities available to our members of our public. But as commissioners, we will be in person on the dais after April.
So that's
my understanding.
Thank you for clarifying that. Even more of a reason to make sure we are all clear on meeting dates.
Yes, so we will get that out. And thank you for looking up the CPRS award. Just to mention, yes, we can make a city award. That's a great idea as well, but we can also apply for this state award. So if there's any member of the community, it may be a little, mean more if it's from the state. And then they do the award ceremony at the CPRS conference, which is moves from the Southern California to Northern California every other year. But if there's someone, a member of the public you would like to nominate, we can apply for the state award, and that's very special for folks. So great idea. Thank you, Julie, for that. But just keep that in mind. We can do the state as well. And the others, yes, I think I'm clear on. So thank you.
Anita, I saw your hand raised.
Actually, just to check, access to this Zoom meeting would be from Arvin Petros?
Yes, or someone else from the city, but that's who sent it this time.
Okay.
And then since this is still publicly recorded for any members of the public watching, the links are posted on the city's website with the agendas for any meeting, as long as we are still on Zoom until the state rules kick in and we can't do that anymore. You can find the opportunity to join as a member of the public via Zoom any commission or city council meeting on the agendas pages of those bodies.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for a wonderful meeting, and we will see you in April and sooner.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.